Tell me, are you ready to find your weird way? Weird was a concept that was spoken of long ago. It meant fate, it meant destiny, it meant your path in life. I'm your host, Dean Bentley, and I am here to explore how you can connect to your own path in life, to know the essence of your own soul, to connect to that single spark that lives within the deepest recesses of your being that says, this is why I am here, to go beyond the limitations, the constrictions of the modern world, and open you to the possibilities and the potentiality of what is possible within this world. Join me as we dive deep on the Wyrd Way. Wyrd Ways, welcome back. I have missed you. I have missed these podcasts. I have actually recorded multiple episodes between this one and the last season, but I have not released them. And I just want to own that first and foremost because I've really missed this. And to come back to it where I know I'm going to be releasing this podcast, it's going to be coming out today, and you are getting one from straight away. And I am delighted to be here. So, welcome. Welcome. For those who are new, for those that are joining us again, I say welcome. So this season feels like it is going to be expanding. These things have been something that have been really close to my heart, this podcast, and there's a lot more energy of, hey, like let's ground into both the mythic and the structural. So these podcasts are going to be coming out quite regularly, and you're going to be getting a whole dose of them. For those who listen, I'm going to ask this of you. I'm going to ask that you share them. I'm going to ask that you send them to someone that they may connect with. And I know I'm monologuing a bit at the start before I'm diving into what I'm here to discuss today. But this is the thing with these podcasts. The relational aspect is a thing that helps people connect. For me, like sharing a podcast I love with someone, it creates connection. So if you get something out of these, please share it. Please share it to support me. Please share it to support the people that receive it. Because in this sharing, we get to connect and we get to rebuild the mycelium network of connection that has been disrupted by so many things in this world. So please rate this podcast, support it, help it grow because I love this. And, one of the things that happens is I don't get to see what lands for people and what really connects with people. I have conversation at times and people say, hey, I really love this. And I had no idea. And sometimes it can feel like speaking into the void, which is a practice that sometimes you have to get okay with when you're building something. But every time I receive the reflection or the acknowledgement that this hit a piece, it continues to fuel the vision. So please support that. And this is something that, for me is the opening into a different way of being where it's like asking for the support. And if you're anything like me, you probably struggle with that. And so asking for this feels vulnerable, it feels real, and I would love to receive that from all of you. So this season, I've been thinking about these episodes so much of like, where are we going? What is happening? What is this podcast going into? And it's going to continue in a lot of the same theme of, hey, we're in the mythic, we're in the magic, we're in the alchemy, the initiation of what it takes to be fully human in this world. This has continued to be my deep craving, my deep longing of how I can unlock the fullness of myself and share that with this world. How can I give this myself to this world fully? And this podcast is where I'm exploring that. I'm going to be bringing on more people and we're going to continue to have beautiful, beautiful conversations. So Please strap in for all of that. If you have a guest, if you have someone who you're like, I would love to get them on this podcast, please do that. And I know I am using the first while of this podcast to ask for a lot. And this is my encouragement of you to ask for a lot in your own life. Too many times we shrink our own desires, we contract and say that's too much, but begin this conversation. A mentor of mine would be saying that we're not just having conversation with the person in front of us, we're having conversation with the universe. And this is how we begin it. Ask for what you want. Ask for the things you need. Ask for the support, the love, the care, the nourishment. Ask for all the things that help people support you, love you, and see you, because this is what we need more of in this world so that we can be more human, we can be more connected, and we can be more true to ourselves. So that is probably about all. I'm probably going to wrap it back to the start so many times. You know what I do on these podcasts if you've listened to a few. And I'm really going to go into a very specific topic this first episode, something that's been percolating in the backgrounds, and that is why Icarus must fall. So let me frame this up that we're about to jump into the mythic space. We're going into the exploration of the myth of Icarus. So for those that aren't familiar, this is the story of a man who flies too close to the sun and he gets burnt and his wings melt and he falls to Earth. So the whole story is that his father was someone who was able to craft him and himself wings because they were trapped in a tower with no way of escape. And so his father cultivated and created these beautiful wings where he plucked feathers from the eagle and built them out of wax and feathers. And he had warned his father, his son, to not fly too close to the sun. And what happened as they flew from the tower top, they flew out over the walls that had trapped them, and they flew very, very far. And as he flew, the son got excited. He got very excited. He felt the freedom of the flight and he began to soar. Ecstasy began to run through him. So he climbed higher and higher, flying higher and higher, seeing how high he could go. And as he flew, he forgot his father's warning. And before long, he was up so high he could feel the heat of the sun around him. And he realized too late that his wings were beginning to melt. And as they melted, they flew away and he plummeted to the world beneath. Now, this story, like any story, is one that has many, many layers. When we're looking at story, when we're looking at myth, what we are doing is looking at it in an archetypal mythic perspective where we are looking at how we can see ourselves within this story. Because this is what story does. This is the importance of story in this world because it creates the relational components for our psyche to be able to identify this is what happened to me. And this story both plays out on the individual and the collective level. We're seeing this in the world right now with the fall of the shadow masculine, the wounded aspects, and we're plummeting to the ground in different ways. We're being called to ground in. There is a aspect of spirit that wants to ascend, that wants to travel very high up to the upper realms of reality, that wants to transcend and continue flying and seeing how high it can get. But there's a more mature aspect that is asking this to descend, to ground into reality. And this is one of the things that any visionary, any creator, any artist must be aware of. There is an aspect of the psyche that is grandiose in its vision, that has a vision that is so large, that is so broad, that firstly, to claim it feels incredible. It's like, oh my God, I can create this. I can bring this to life, and I'm going to be incredible for bringing this to life. And I can just release all my attachments and continue to build to it. And it's almost grandiose in how much it believes in itself. And this is beautiful. I'm not looking to condemn this aspect of the self, but there's a warning here. Grandiosity is here to push us beyond ourselves. It's here to open the doorway of limitation and show us that we are capable of so much. We all need a bit of grandiosity. We all need that spark, that spunk that says, I'm capable of this, that I'm able to create something and I'm able to be the one that is going to bring something to life. That is such an important aspect, but it is only one, and it is where a lot of visionaries live. They have the vision, they have the perspective of, I can create this and I'm going to create this. But the problem with the grandiosity is that it's almost unformed, it's immature, it's at the start of the hero's journey and it hasn't developed, it hasn't gone through the initiation that would have shaped it into a mature perspective where it knows that it does have limitations. The grandiose is like, I can do anything and everything. And while that is true, the mature knows that it will take time to develop and move towards that we cannot do it so quickly, so rapidly, without the care and the consideration for the reality we live in, without fracturing it, without splintering it, without creating fragmented realities where we're disconnected from those that are important and disconnected from ourselves. So the other extreme, and a friend of mine, Leon Costner, shared this with me, trading your grandiosity for greatness. And this is the invitation of grandiosity and the initiation. So grandiosity is a call. If you're familiar with the hero's journey, it is a call to adventure. It's a vision that would call us forward and say, hey, go after that, go after it. But what the grandiose part does not know is the underworld. It's the moment in the furnace where they are forged and shaped and matured. They are aged like wine in the barrel in the dark cellar. This is a process that cannot be avoided if you wish to create the vision. But the grandiose part does not want to acknowledge it. It only wants the rainbows and butterflies and it to feel good. This can be a big thing that occurs within the spiritual scene where a lot of people get caught in the visionary element and everything should just flow and everything's love and light. And while there's such an important aspect of alignment, of flow, of creation, this at times can bypass some of the fundamental things that are important within this reality, including money, finances, relationships, the grounded nature of these structures that we need to operate within this reality. It doesn't matter if you like them or not, but this is the current structure of reality. We are in a certain matrix of reality. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or you disagree, but there is an aspect where you must know how to operate within that world to support yourself, to create, to provide for yourself, to know that you have a fundamental basis that you can land on, and then from that, create something more. That's the important aspect here. Without it, you'll become very disconnected. You'll become disconnected from yourself, and you may just chase something endlessly without expanding your capacity. So the stretching, the polarity of your grandiosity, and also this aspect that asks you to ground. They are a polarity that asks you to expand your capacity. It's not just one or the other. It's not just chasing your vision, though this can be such an important thing. You may have to go after it first. You may have to chase the vision and see where it takes you and give everything to it. Because there's a function of the grandiosity that is here to show you your limitations and how ungrounded and how unstructured and what you did that didn't work. Because it's going to highlight the areas that you need to improve. You can keep running, but the things you run from are going to continue to follow you. Your problems, your issues, there's no way to actually bypass that without turning and looking at them. But there's a beautiful thing. If you get caught in the grandiose vision, you will chase it, you will go after it. And in that, there will probably be a destruction of your identity, of yourself, that's going to remind you, oh, there's aspects of your life that need tending. What I'm talking about here is developing a full sense of the human. We need to develop all our capacities and not just one limiting aspect, which may be the visionary. We need to expand that to include the totality of the self. And this is where we require safety, we require comfort, we require some known, while also knowing that we can enter the unknown, the unknown aspects of this reality. So we need to have both. So as you can see, the grandiosity, it's like, come, abandon everything, chase me. There's an illusionary nature of it in the fact that it's not seeing complete reality. And this isn't meant to be the case. It's meant to be rose tinted glasses because it wants you to go chase. It wants you to go break open your reality to experience something else. And it's going to ask you to do that, to go after it, to leave. And if you knew the truth of what the vision asked of you, you would probably never depart. And this is why it has to be illusionary nature. It's why you can't see all the things that are going to happen to you along the way. Even that part of you, you could call it soul, may know. It may know that the immature parts of yourself may need shaping, that certain aspects of yourself need development. But it's not going to tell you that. It's going to fixate upon this vision that's saying this is possible. This is where you can go. You can have everything you require. Just go after it. And what it doesn't tell you is all the things that that's going to ask of you. The commitment, the discipline, the development, the struggle, the challenge, the forging, the moments that test you beyond breaking, the moments that actually do break you, because that is going to occur. It's the hero's journey. We're getting the call and it's so big and so grand. We're like, yes, this is beautiful. And you set off and you don't realize how intense or how hard that actually is. And this is where the underworld enters. The underworld sounds dark, it can be dark, but ultimately it is the forge. And a lot of people have spent the entirety of their life here where they have been trapped in the underworld. It's like they have become friends with it, but they didn't enter it willingly. They didn't have the vision before they went. And this is a thing that happens when you're truly holding vision, when the grandiose part of you is alive. And when I say grandiose, you probably notice that this is an aspect of the child, the one who dreams, the one who's able to see, who believes in magic and wonder and awe. It is still a deep aspect of the child. And this, for many people, is so offline that they have no vision and they don't feel this grandiose nature of themselves. And if that's the case, this actually requires healing first. It requires to be with that child, tend to it, play with it, learn how to do art, draw, create, because we need the wonder of the child. It's what brings life and love and joy into our lives. And without it, we just get very closed and hurt and painful. So we need that, and you need to find that. But when you truly hold this grandiose part of you as you enter the underworld, what you will be doing is holding the vision. You will know where you're going. You will know that you have a path and that there is a light and a beacon and you are moving towards it. Without that, you'll notice that even when things are hard, you're swirling, you're swaying, you're asking why. But when you can connect to a vision in such a way where it holds you, where it supports you, you trust that this is for the shaping of you so you can hold the totality of your vision. Because Vision isn't about obtaining the end result. It's about your own becoming. It's about shaping you into the person that you need to be. And when you are holding that light of grandiosity within you, you know that everything that occurs is for you, that it's shaping you so that you can hold the vision, that you can move towards it, that you can create it, and that you need to become first, that you need to be shaped by reality, by both the grandiose and the reality that you're living in. And when you can hold those tensions of what is occurring now and the dream that you have, if you can hold those two capacities simultaneously, it will stretch you and shape you in such a way where your psyche is forced to expand, your embodiment is forced to stretch, and no longer are you trying to choose between realities. You are being the bridge that rebuilds this split between the old earth and the new earth. You're saying that we can move towards it gradually, slowly, stewarding life. And this is something that needs to happen because too often we think it's going to be the next medicine journey or the next workshop or the next retreat. And while we can have a quantum shift, a moment that completely changes us, what led up to that moment is the small gradual shifts that happened over time that allowed you to suddenly realize what you're here for and direct all your energy into alignment. That's what happens. It wasn't just suddenly, it was a slow progress, and you get to a point and then suddenly everything shifts. That's a quantum shift. It's not, nothing was happening then everything. It was like, no, I was on the path and then a moment changed and then everything changed as well. And I was already moving towards where I needed to go. So this is why that when you're in the underworld, you need that light. Without it, it's just going to be a dark night of the soul. And they're important. And if you haven't listened to the previous episodes on that, please do, because there's so much in there that I won't have time to explore on this. But you're meant to break down the ego structures of your mind there, of who you believe you're meant to be, so something deeper can emerge, so your soul can emerge, because it can't function in its fullness if you're living in a bound reality that comes from your conditioning that has entrapped you so deeply. And then the dark night shows up to strip away and say, hey, you're suffocating because of your own entrapment or your conditioning that you believe you have to live within. And it's asking you to expand by first removing a few of those layers that are no longer serving you, because you're actually here for so much more and your soul knows it. So I feel like that was a whole broad dive into so much that we are really touching on here. And as this podcast goes from here, we're going to be exploring this in a lot of different themes. Like there's a richness when you can actually see both your grandiosity and your greatness. It is when the adult comes online truly, because it holds the child in its grandiosity. It's like, I want that and that and that and that and that and that. And the adult's able to come in and say, how beautiful, you want all those things. And okay, what's actually true, and then how are we going to move towards it? Because action is the last step of creation. It needs to occur. It needs to move towards that reality. We need to shift on some level, whether that's our energetic field or our being, and that needs to allow new action to emerge so that then we can create from that place. So if you're looking at this within yourself, like really track your grandiose vision. Are you hiding that from yourself? Because a lot of you probably are. You're probably hiding the full scope of your vision because it scares you, as it should. Like I said, vision is here to shape you. It's here to help you unbecome and become at the same time. It's meant to destroy your perceptions of yourself and allow you to open into something else. So of course it scares you, because if you hold the bigness of it, it's probably going to be so big that it's going to take you a lot of energy to first open to that and then allow that current to run through your body. It's not natural in our world to actually hold the full scope of the vision that we're here for. We haven't been taught how. So just by opening it and open the grandiosity of like, wow, I am great. I can hold so much. Wow, I can create anything. Incredible. One of the first steps that you need to do to allow yourself to create more. And then from there, see where it's pointing you, what direction you're being asked to go, and begin to see, okay, is this a moment where I need to leave everything behind and split my realities? Really, if you're familiar with the hero's journey, you'll see when this is appropriate. It's really about when a person needs to leave their tribe. And this is more on a like conditioned self of like, I need to extract myself from the conditioned belief structures that I've been living in and find my own way. I need to force myself outside the reality so that I can learn how I want to operate and learn a new way of being that's not being taught. It's when the child becomes the adult. And from there, you can begin to see, okay, how can I develop all of this? How can I move towards this? How can I grow? And begin to tend to that grandiose path. And if you need to chase it, because it will show you if you're being only grandiose. And this isn't my encouragement to burn the life down, but it will show you where you lack because you've gone after what you've wanted. And from there, you'll realize, oh, maybe I left a few components behind, a few things that were important. And then from there, you get the fun work of descending into the depths, which may be confronting because it makes you tend to the daily things in life. And this is what we're really talking about here, the dualistic nature of reality, where we needing to tend to both the mundane and the magic, the everyday and the mythical. These are both things that if you're walking between worlds, if you're on this magical path, which is probably why you're listening to the Wyrd Way, you're learning to hold both. It's not just one or the other. It's not just the magic or the mundane. It's not just business or ceremony. It's actually learning how to hold both, to be spiritual and to create business, to be a loving partner. And I'm not sure on the opposite one I was going for that, but you get the picture. We're looking to expand duality and hold greater and greater amounts so we can exist within this reality in our fullness. That's what we're aiming to do, and this is how the grandiose part of us serves us to help us create that. Cool. So let that land. And let me know what landed in all of that for you. We touched on so many pieces. Like, I don't need to wrap that up in explaining that. But, what I said at the start of this, please share this, share what landed for you, share what like inspired you, share the pieces that really hit home. And if there was a specific section, let me know in the comments, send me a message, share it on your socials, please, and just allow this to continue to grow because that's what we're here to do. We're continue to expand our consciousness, expand one another, and help each other grow in this weird thing called a human life and engage in it in such a different way from maybe what we've known before. So thank you all. This was the Wyrd Way. Dean Bentley signing out.